So I believed going into this debate that if it wasn't particularly feisty from Bernie Sanders' point of view, it would imply that he had seen polling that was better than the public polling that we have seen. But both came out of the gate swinging. I believe Hillary first, but both have been throwing lines back and forth.
So your thought was that if Bernie played it safe, it meant the polling looked good?
Yeah, I mean, that was what I thought going into. There was another one of the big election days where we would have expected that he would come out swinging. It's a lot of delegates on the line. But he didn't, and that implied to me that he felt like he was where he needed to be. But neither of them are acting as if they're comfortable with the position that they have vis-a-vis the polls going into the next few states. And they're both, I mean,
to me, it would indicate that if Bernie had seen polling and I don't think that happens anymore. New York is so polled. I don't think they have secret polls that are any better.
But no, I mean internal campaign polls.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think those internal campaign polls can be any better. They use the same. They're doing the same thing. But if he thought he were close, that this strategy would be consistent with pulling close. Like, okay, I'm close. I got to close this deal. I'm going to be aggressive. I draw lines of distinction.
I'm stunned by how harsh she's been coming out. I mean, from the gate. It made me feel like she was a little more worried than she needed to be. I mean, because of the simple structure of what it takes to vote in the New York primary, she's fairly safe no matter what the day-to-day polls say.
That's right. Well, you know, I have a sense that he has a Michigan in him, you know, and that it just wouldn't surprise me still. I mean, I look at the polls, and she's probably going to win New York. She's probably going to win it by 10 to 8 to 12, you know, something around there. But there have been many, many, many campaigns where the person who's getting 27,000 people. Now, right, if they're all, you know, from SUNY Stony Brook and members of the Young Communists of America, then okay, she can't get them. But they're not. They're New Yorkers. And so, you know, those people, when they get the big energy and the big turnout, and if those polls close at all, that would be an indication of a surge. And that I think he can. I think she'll
12
win,
points represents closing from a few weeks ago.
Sure. But it's sort of, as with many times, he gets to a reasonable degree of closeness, and then with the exception of Michigan, that's where it plateaus in states that are like New York, right, with the demographic makeup and a closed primary. So, but I just feel like somewhere along the line he may have something in him. Like, you know, maybe the fact that he's won 8 in a row is no different than the fact that she swept the South and it was early. This is the way they were laid out. This is when these states came out. Or it means a little something, and the national polls have gotten a little closer. So I don't know.
I think she looked really worried. That's what those harsh attacks felt to me, is that she actually felt that he was now a threat.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Whereas in previous debates, it was kind of like, here's this guy no one's going to take seriously and no one's going to cover him anyway. I don't really need to get emotionally involved.
And by the same token, don't you get the feeling that his people were like, enough?
Yeah.
Go out, it's a race.
Yeah.
Go.
Which is a very risky thing to do. I mean, we see, how many times did she interrupt him? The first time he said, "Excuse me," I'm seeing tweets about, oh, the press room's blowing up. But they weren't blowing up when she did the same thing to him. And he was treating her with the same level of respect or disrespect, call it whatever you want, that she was treating him with. They were treating each other as if they were equals running against each other in a primary.
I don't see that. You think the one person is, do you really think that she has treated him worse in this debate than he has treated her? Like on a politeness level?
I think that no, actually the point that I was going to make when I started talking was, I think that one of the reasons that they're debating the way they are is partially it's because of New York, but it's partially I think they're sick of each other. I think that they've gotten far enough into the debate that they've both insulted each other, 55 different ways. And they both probably despise each other at this point.
Yeah, I mean, and I think New York has a lot to do with it. I just don't think it would have happened anywhere else. This is where this happens. It always happens here.
I do watching
when
him.
It's competitive.
He's never given this many. What the fuck did she just say?
Right, that's right.
Looks to the camera. I
Well,
mean,
she said that he's just catching up on caring about Dodd-Frank and financial regulation.
She's
reforms.
been part of the fight for 15.
I know, that's.
I just think it's such a bad tactic of hers to try to pretend, again, as always, been a bad tactic, try and pretend to be something that you're not. And she's trying to do it as if she's been a leader on something that everybody on the planet knows she did not lead on.
And that's, if you want to know how you get to a 55% unfavorability rating, that's how you do it.